So today I've allowed the husband to drive my new Volvo, the XC40 B3, and I'm going to do some video clips of the journey and the dash and bits and pieces, and I hope you like it. Right, so we're going to try, the lane guidance is activated, so we're going to try and change lanes without indicating, just to see what happens and how sort of a vicious the attempt is to pull you back. There you go, so it does guide you back into the lane. My previous car was a BMW, and the lane guidance on that was much more aggressive than this one, and difficult to hold on to, but this one is just enough that it brings your attention to what you're doing, but not enough that it's too difficult to overpower if you need to. Right, so now I'm going to try the Google Assist. I've used this a couple of times. I've used it for making phone calls, and the majority of the time it works. The salesman in the garage advised me it doesn't work a lot of the time, but I found actually invariably it does work. I did have a couple of issues with the navigation with it, so we'll try that now just to see if we can set it and then to cancel it. Hey Google, navigate to London.
Navigating to London.
There we go.
This route avoids road closures on Constitution Hill and on the Mall. You are on the fastest route. You should reach your destination by 1935.
There we go. So that's quite helpful. And I'll try and cancel it now. Hey Google, cancel navigation. There we go, and that's cancelled off the screen. So although they did warn me that the Google Assist wasn't very good, I actually find it quite useful. So I'm going to try and film the hybrid system kicking in. So sorry, it's a bit bouncy, and the sun is in the wrong position. So when you brake and put your foot on the brake, you can see over to the right of the screen there's a little sort of white battery logo next to just right of the D for drive, just over here. And when you brake, you'll notice some blue lines that come alongside there, and it's filling the battery up, essentially charging it from the energy from the braking system. And then as you're going along, if you don't need to accelerate, the rev counter on the bottom right, you'll notice the revs drop off there, and that's when you're working off the hybrid system and it's not using any fuel. So we'll attempt to show you that. So that's the hybrid system kicking in. Your revs have dropped off completely. And then when you put your foot back on the accelerator, the revs kick back in, and that's using your fuel again. So now you can see that that battery next to the D is lighting up blue and filling up. That's because we're braking, and now it's gone back to white that we're driving off. Sorry for the bumpiness. So when you're braking, it transfers the energy from that into the battery to save for your hybrid driving. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit and tell you about the drive on the Volvo. So it's an automatic transmission. With that always comes a bit of lag on the acceleration. So if you're stationary, because of the auto hold and the auto box, it does lag and it is a bit slow off the mark. So you do have to plan ahead and prepare when you're pulling out and things. Don't leave it till the last minute, because you won't go as fast as you think you're going to go. The brakes are sharp on it, but the car feels heavy when you're braking, and it sort of almost wallows a little bit. So you have to be a bit careful with your braking as well. I think when it beds in, maybe that will become a little bit sharper. The steering is very light. I've had a couple of issues though with the car, in that twice so far since I've had it, and I've only obviously had it for 2 weeks. The car, when it's been turned off, I've turned it back on again, and a warning light's come on telling me that the power steering's failed. And I did try to drive it, and the power steering had failed, and you just could not drive the car. And I remember cars before power steering, and this was very, very difficult. You could not drive it. So I turned the engine off, and the warning light went away. I have contacted the garage and they've not come back to me about that yet, but I'm hoping that's not going to be a recurring issue, but that is something that's happened. I've had a couple of warning lights come on the car, but normally just turning the engine off resets it, and they go away, and then it's all back working. So it must be some sort of electronic thing. If they plugged it into a computer, they'd probably update it and it would go away. But just thought I'd let you know about that. I think the other thing worth mentioning is the keys are a bit fiddly with the Volvo, because your lock unlock is along the thin edge, and one of the edges is for the hazard lights, and the other edge of the keys is for the lock, unlock and the boot. So I have to press unlock twice to unlock all of the doors. I press it once, it unlocks the driver's door. If you press lock, it locks everything. For the boot function, you have to press and hold the button. I actually find it easier if I'm coming from the car. There's a boot open button just to the right of the steering wheel. It's easier as you're getting out the car just to press that, and it opens the boot for you. It actually is quicker than holding the key fob one. And then obviously it's electronic boot to close. But if you're coming from the house, you haven't got any option. At least it's a nice little function to open the boot ready for you if you're coming from outside, in case it's raining or you've got heavy bags or something, and you can pop them in there. But it doesn't have the function where you swipe your foot and it opens for you, so you have to press a button. Get 2 keys with the car when you pick it up, but unlike most other cars, you get one sort of black key, which is your main key, and you get another one that was a sort of yellow orange key, and the different coloured key is for your second driver. So it doesn't have electronic seat functions in this model, but you can set up your dash and your like infotainment and things on the screen, and it knows from the key which person's driving, and it always knows the main key is for the main driver, and it will put all of your preferences up on the screen ready for you. So everyone, we're just coming to the end of our drive, so we're going to leave it there for today. If you want to see the car, the exterior interior bits and pieces, have a look at my other video that's uploaded, which does a walk around. I've got one, someone requested that I do a night one with the lights. It's a bit tricky because of the kids trying to get out. It's still not dark early enough, so I attempted to do one the other night, but to be honest, it wasn't very good. I will upload it, but the video wasn't very good and it didn't really show the lights terribly well. But I will upload that as well so that you can have a look. But I probably would do another one to try and capture a little bit better, and to capture the welcome home function as well, because one of the things was I complained about it, there's no welcome home lights, but we've found since that actually there is. If you push the stick, the indicator stick forward, but you have to do it every time you get out the car, it will do the welcome home lights. So I haven't even seen those yet because it's never dark when I get home, but I will try those out and I will refilm that, so that you can have a look at all the different lights. But I hope you're all having a good weekend, and we'll speak to you soon.